Hey Jasmine. Yeah, I think that this looks really, I think it looks a lot more appropriate. I mean, you could even add a little microphone in the hand. It would actually make it look like it was singing or something like that. So, just a few suggestions for the shadow. You really need to attach it to the body, and I would go through this tutorial. It's only a couple steps, and I would make it at this kind of an angle. And be sure to do the gradient part where it's darker towards the body. It just looks a lot better. You don't want it to look like it's not part of the caricature. So that's one thing I would work on. I think the type still needs more work. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the font works okay. It's not my favorite font, but I wouldn't go too much into these gradients. It doesn't add anything. So, I mean, the basic thing is if it doesn't add anything, don't add it. I mean, don't use it, because it's simple is really better. I would put the type closer to each other. Just because you want it to relate to each other. That's one of the main design things is proximity. Then what I would also do is, I'm going to turn this off because it just needs to, it needs to look like it's attached to here. I mean, I don't know, you might be able to get it to work, but I don't know. You'd have to rotate it. I mean, I don't know. I would just do it over, just because this project's worth so many points. But that would be, that would be kind of my suggestion, would be to just redo it, other than trying to make this one work. And then, I mean, then doing a perspective. But again, like I say, it's just I would not do this. I would just do the whole thing over. Just because it doesn't, it doesn't suit the purpose, because it just isn't, it's just not. And you can see now it's getting all pixelated looking. So, yeah, unfortunately this way doesn't really work. You know what I mean? It's just not gonna, but because you want, I mean, you don't want it to go off, but you want it to be something like that. And I'm just going to turn it off. So what I would do though is I would still make the caricature a little bit bigger. Yeah, I don't think this shadow, I don't think it adds anything. In fact, it just makes it look blurry. What I was thinking was something, like just some little marking to look like it was attaching here, or even kind of puncturing it a little bit. I mean, it's just because it's such a focal point. It's it's right in the middle, and the eye just goes right there. Yeah, something like this, where where it connects with the drum, makes it really look like it's part of it. I mean, that would make a really big difference. And the reason I say a big difference is because it's right there. It's a real focal point. And you might want to not have the angle so severe. So anyway, but that, I mean, those are some of the things I would do. I think it could be a little bit bigger. I mean, not that much bigger, but just a little bit bigger. I'm not a super fan of centering, so I would probably do something like that. And then I would work the text over. I would work in the text over here. I wouldn't just put it at the top. I mean, because this is the part of the project where it's really a lot of just adding and subtracting and seeing how things look. I would really not use too much of this bevel stuff. I mean, there's other things you can use. I mean, you can use a little bit of it, but it just kind of looks, I don't know, it just doesn't. But anyway, so I mean, Photoshop has just been being a real pain lately. But again, again, you can't really see this now because the gradient's been moved. But I would just do oh, there it goes. But I would just, do something like that and make it more readable. And I just would not use these all cap fonts. Maybe for one, but I don't know, it doesn't work that great for a lot of stuff. And again, you can still play with your, you know, and I would go as far as I could with some of these drumsticks. I wouldn't just stop with the easiest positioning of it because, you know, I mean, it's going to make a big difference. Like, so I would really continue to, you know, rotate them. I don't know. I would just really play with them because it's just going to be such a crucial. You know what I mean? Just think of the visual design, like what's going to look the best. I don't know. I mean, I don't really like that much, but and you might want to add a white glow because it'll show up better on the red. You know, and I would just really work with even these more. I'd make them fatter, like I think I showed you last time. I mean, if you added a little mic, like, I mean, that could actually add a whole different thing to it. You know, so yeah, whatever. But overall, the background looks a lot better. I would still, you know, like I said, I would still play with it. I would even look at what you can do, you know, with the contrast and the light and darkness of the background. You can go into the levels and just see what that'll do. Because you have 2 more drafts to go, right? So that's making it darker. It's making it even darker. Let's see what it looks like lighter. Yeah, I don't know about lighter. Yeah, I don't think I'd go lighter. But again, just play with these sliders because they can really be helpful. I mean, I don't know, let's see. Not really. Another thing you could look at is hue and saturation, because sometimes if you bring the saturation down on such bright colors, it'll also allow the caricature to stand out. You know, so even something like that, because then it doesn't compete as much with your red text. Make it a little darker too. I mean, I'd probably do something like that. Yeah, hue and saturation is great, just because then it won't be so strong with the text. Okay, so anyway, nice job. And I'm on Hangouts all the time, so just grab me if you feel like it.